Hey there, No DQ Galaxy. It's the Wizard of No DQ, Stephen Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter, and we're here to bring you What's in NXT. And today we are reviewing the October 24th edition of NXT, and it's going to be a late night.
Oh, yes.
We have a lot of reviews to do tonight, so we're going to get right into it. We started off the show with William Regal outside with security guards at the entrance to, I guess, Full Sail. Yep. And he tells these guys that as soon as Aleister Black gets there, he needs to be brought straight to Regal. Because he does not need to I don't know why. Why?
Well, at the conclusion of last week, I can't blame Regal for being a little apprehensive that Aleister Black's going to come to the arena peacefully in any way, shape, or form, especially since he knows.
So he's imagining that Aleister Black is going to come in and bring the house down.
He's going to raise some hell.
So that goes right into their video montage, the intro package with the awesome music that I wish Raw and SmackDown still had.
Yeah. And
we go to a weird opening. Normally we're used to seeing these three guys, and today it is not the man I imagined was going to be missing from the commentary crew. I thought that not Mauro Ranallo, but
Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah, I thought McGuinness was going to be gone. I thought they were going to put him exclusively on NXT UK. But no, we have been blessed, if you call it that, we've been blessed with the NXT UK commentary team.
Yep.
Interspersed. Mauro Ranallo is out for the moment.
Yeah, he from what we gather, or what was said, he's going to be out to War Games, which would be an awesome return for him, because I know he's going to go, ape shit.
The only thing I can guess is that there was a tweet recently by Mauro Ranallo about a friend of his who had committed suicide, and this might be the reason that they're going with Vic Joseph here for a minute. But either way, our thoughts go out to Mauro Ranallo and his family, and best wishes, and absolutely we hope you're back by War Games.
Oh, yeah.
And certainly, if not by War Games, things happen. We understand. But it was a different commentary team without Mauro. Now, to me, the commentary team didn't even need to be there this episode.
No, they didn't. There was a lot of pauses, and there just wasn't as much excitement because Mauro's got that voice to him and that passion. Like every move he makes sound like the most epic thing on the planet.
There is no replacing Mauro Ranallo. I think that's why Tom Phillips gets such a raw deal, is because he replaced Mauro Ranallo, and he's quite bland compared. I think Todd Phillips is good.
Yeah.
Or Tom Phillips, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think he's good. I watch too much Wrestle Talk. They call him Todd Phillips on purpose.
Yeah.
And so I guess I have adopted their moniker for him. But I think he's just fine. But he replaced Mauro Ranallo, and after hearing Mauro Ranallo call SmackDown for so long, it's like, it's a step down.
Yeah.
But the fact that Corey Graves is there helps.
Oh, yeah. So after this, after we see this announced team, which we go right into the first appearance of the night, and that was the Undisputed Era coming out there, like complete with Bobby Fish.
Yeah, at 100%.
100%.
As Cole says.
They made that known throughout the whole promo. They're back at 100%.
Yeah, they had to make a reference to them being at 100% because it makes more sense when a certain somebody comes out. But they come out, and it's all four of them, and they call them the Undisputed Era on their tagline or whatever it is that comes below them. So we know it's not a match.
Yeah.
Because if they were going to have a 4-on-4 match, we would have known. They would have told us last week. Oh, next week, Undisputed Era 4-on-4 against whomever.
Or it would have started off. So we're going to start off tonight with an 8-man tag match.
So I'm expecting a promo out of all of them, but basically we get a promo out of Cole.
Yeah, pretty much Cole still is bitter over his loss, and he wasn't even pinned in the match. I don't think
No, that was his main point about that. He just says, we're now at 100% because Bobby Fish is back, baby, and he wants to make note that he did not get pinned during the triple threat match for the North American Championship. Yeah. It was in fact Pete Dunne that got pinned, so he didn't get beat. Therefore, he deserves a rematch for his quote North American Championship. And at this point, we expect Ricochet to come out because that would make sense. I guess if the feud is going to continue, it would make sense.
Yeah.
But instead, we get
EC3.
EC3, you say?
So top 1%.
Yeah, yeah. He references that almost immediately that the Undisputed Era may be at 100%, but he is at the top 1%. And yeah, so all of that for a small payoff, but it was all right.
Pretty much EC3 comes out there and tells Cole, you're not really that great. You don't deserve a rematch. Nobody really cares what you guys are talking about. Just get out of the ring. And Adam Cole, I guess, I wouldn't say against character. He's got his three buddies out there with him. Challenges EC3 to a match.
Yeah, and it quickly gets sanctioned by William Regal as if it needs to be sanctioned by William Regal.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's almost out of character, but I'd say it's absolutely within character because Adam Cole is very cocky and very self-assured when he has the rest of the Undisputed Era with him, and they were at ringside at 100%, all three of them, and yet it didn't matter.
No, it didn't at all. The match was pretty back and forth the entire time, but by the end of it, you have EC3 taking out almost the entire Undisputed Era on his own, just knocking them out one by one, and ultimately pinning Cole.
Well, now you say the match was back and forth.
Yeah.
But it was really only back and forth for one reason apiece. EC3 was landing these just perfect, these picture-perfect power moves on Adam Cole. And Adam Cole would get the upper hand. He would get the advantage when the Undisputed Era would get involved and make a distraction. He would take over for a little bit. But every time he turned to the Undisputed Era, eventually EC3 would find a counter or evasion.
He had the face plant to the outside ring canvas, which that was vicious. That was great.
What he's referring to is, I think EC3 went for a punch or something, and Adam Cole lifts him up kind of like John Cena does for the fourth move of Doom.
Yeah.
Or no, the third. I'm sorry, the third move of Doom.
Yeah.
Because the fourth one, I would assume, is the You Can't See Me Five Knuckle Shuffle.
Yeah.
So he lifts him up like that, but he drops him forward, face first, onto the ring apron, and it was just it was great looking. But yeah, that was the way that it was back and forth. Every time EC3 would get a couple power moves in, Adam Cole would kick out, and then
the Era would just kind of
get up on the apron, do some funny business,
start juggling, whatever, just get the referee's attention.
But I think the fact that they did that throughout the match, eventually EC3 figured out how to counter it, and by the end of the match, that's pretty much what happened. He knocks all three. He knocks Fish and O'Reilly and Strong off of the ring apron, and he turns around, and Adam Cole, I can't remember the setup move, but he gets him down, and he goes for that finisher that he's got, where he puts his knee, he takes his knee pad down, and he puts his knee into the back, like a Shining Wizard to the back of the head, kind of shit. But EC3 ducks out of the way, and he catches Cole with a fucking fruit roll up, and gets the pin, because all three of the other guys have already been dealt with, and
it kind of that kind of threw me, the fact that he was actually able to pull off a victory like that, but the whole divide and conquer thing, it actually worked out very, very well. So, yeah, but then you naturally had the 4-on-1 attack right afterwards.
Yeah, natural. And this one actually was more than just an after match. There's a little shout out to my channel. It wasn't just an after match beatdown, but they actually brought him over towards the announcer's table, and Fish took a chair over EC3's, I guess it was his right leg.
Yep.
And it was enough of a chair shot, I guess, in storyline purposes, where EC3 ends up calling over help, and he's pulling his knee pad down, and they're taking a look at his knee. And so I don't know if this is going to write him off of television for a little bit. It would make sense with a decisive, like, really good win here to send him off. This was an okay match for me.
Or it could be the sign for a call-up. We never really know. But
yeah, with all of these injuries going on, you could well bet your ass that EC3, as big of a name as he really made himself on televised wrestling, because whether you watch TNA or Impact Wrestling or whatever it's called, whether you watch it or not, it is televised wrestling.
Yeah.
So, I guess he would be...
I can see him disappearing from television for maybe like a week or two while they work on any kind of video package or anything that they need to do.
At least till the Monday Night Raw after Crown Jewel.
Yes. That's what they usually do, is they save the debuts and stuff for the night after a pay-per-view. And that would be a pretty decent-sized one to have, because, yeah, injury-prone superstars lately.
I'm gonna make a prediction now that if next week when we're doing what's NXT for, it's gonna be the 31st.
That'll be Halloween.
Oh, the Halloween version. Oh, we gotta do something for the Halloween version.
Now that I think about it, we have to dress up in some way.
I have a costume, but I really don't know if I'm gonna wear that costume for this. But maybe you guys can persuade me to do
so. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to do that.
It's the best costume. I've put so much time and money and effort into this costume. But anyway, I'm making a prediction that if we don't see a video package or some sort of callback to the attack on his knee, onto EC3's knee, next week on that show, that's them writing him off.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Puts him out of sight, out of mind on the NXT audience, but then puts him makes it so the impact that he makes on either Raw or SmackDown, when he actually makes the move over there, that much more impactful. It's like
a guy like him, Raw.
Yeah, I would think definitely Raw
as a heel, because they need bad guy heels. Well, then again, Dean Ambrose turned, but then again, Elias turned face, so that, one counterbalances the other one, and Kevin Owens is out. Well, we mentioned this a little bit later. NXT has a great fat guy with the initials KO waiting in the wings.
Yep.
But we'll get to him later. In the meantime, I thought it was a good match. You know me, I like a good story. They told a good story.
Yeah.
When you look at it from after the show, when I look back on it, yeah, they told a good story, because the way he won the match was overcoming the odds, and it wasn't so surprising for him to overcome the odds because they had been using that tactic throughout the match, and eventually he figured it out.
Yeah. He's not exactly new to... Well, he's not new to heel tactics,
right?
Or, anything like that either. So it's one of these things. It's like they're not showing him anything that he doesn't already know. But at the same time, yeah, he figured it out very quickly. He knocked it out. The power moves, like you said, were amazing. The sit-out power bomb they nailed. Like, I rival that with the Batista bomb. That thing was just beautiful looking.
Yeah.
So
then he positioned himself like most guys that would do a sit-out power bomb like that would just go for the cover as is. But he repositioned himself for a better cover.
Yeah.
And that's something that strikes me, especially when I watch his power moves and how perfect looking they are.
Yeah.
He's just a perfectionist. But I don't know if he does that on purpose or if he really is a perfectionist, but that really kind of plays to his character of the top 1%.
Yes.
So I think he would be great on Raw. Like I said, if we don't see a video package or some sort of reference to him getting attacked as to why we aren't seeing him this week and we won't see him next week and blah blah blah, then then that's just them letting us have that to think, well, that's right, that's why he's not here, he got attacked with the chair. But at the same time, they're not putting into storyline or putting onto television having us expect to see him back.
Yeah.
Necessarily. So,
like, the point was just dropped, and we were just moved right on to our next match, which was debut.
Yeah, we get a small video package for the debut of Mia Kim. Mia Yim. Yep. I'm sorry. It's not Gail Kim. Though by her finisher you would think it was.
Yep.
I thought this was for next week, but that wasn't the first. Actually, no, this wasn't even. I want to talk before we get to this match.
Okay.
Nikki Cross is out back, and she's talking to the security guards.
Yeah.
And she's telling him he's coming. Nikki Cross almost becomes an integral part of this interwoven storyline throughout the night. Yeah. And this is one of those spots, I want to make mention of it, even though it's so trivial, because it shows that this storyline is interwoven throughout the night. It started the show before they even had the intro package with the music and everything else. They showed the security being set up by William Regal, and this is just another one of the plot points where now Nikki Cross is out there telling security, and security's looking at each other like, who the fuck is this woman?
It's like he's coming.
But then, yes, next we have Aliyah comes out.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, well, too bad it's a squash match. And I'm like, wait, who's she facing? Because he already know. He paid attention to the graphic. I'm sitting down here. I just saw the word next. And I'm like, oh, next week. Mia Yim. No. He's like, no, Mia Yim. I'm like, are you sure? I thought that was next week. And he's like... So, yeah, that's me always writing notes and missing shit on the screen. But yeah, Mia Yim.
Like, automatically, I said squash match, but then I realized that this Aliyah chick is from, Canada. And that's pretty much like a wrestling factory up there. So yeah. I'm thinking either it's going to be a squash match or it's going to be a really great looking women's match where it's going to put Mia Yim over. And sure enough, it did just that, because I'm going to say it right now, Aliyah impressed me.
Yeah, she was impressive, but I wouldn't call it a great looking match. It was a good match.
It wasn't great looking, but at the same time, there was a lot of wear down holds, and I thought Aliyah was going to be reduced to one of those, hair pulling, clawing type chicks. She really wasn't. She pulled off like the hair mare type hair snap thing at one point. That's what kind of, I was like, oh god, she's doing one of those cat fight types. But then she started doing these wear down holds, and then she also did what I like to call the Louise Thez press.
Yeah, the Louise Thez press. Of course, I love Louise.
Yeah.
Louise is my chick. Oh, I'm wearing her hat. I've actually worn that hat. If you find me on Facebook, I've got tons of pictures of me at Rock on the Range. I think I wore that Louise ear bunny hat all 3 days 2 years ago. Anyway, that's off topic. Yeah, it was a good match. Like, I think, and there was 3 matches on this show. This is number 2 of 3 matches, and they were all good matches.
Yeah, they didn't exactly hold the, I'm not going to say, I want to say caliber. I'm going to go ahead and say caliber that these matches that we've had the past couple weeks have had, because we've had 2 matches, I think, on each card, or at least, like, but then there was always that one major one that they had been building for weeks or whatnot.
They started off the show with what should have been the main event match.
Mm-hmm.
Because of not just necessarily the star power of Adam Cole versus EC3, but the fact that it wasn't an enhancement match.
No.
It wasn't somebody they're trying to put over versus somebody that they don't care if they lose.
These were 2 very well-established athletes, and they're kicking off the show.
But you had to do this because the main event was not a match.
No.
So you had to put the other highlight of the show at the beginning so that you weren't cramming in this match right before the main event, which we will get to.
Yep.
And I thought it was a good match. Even the first match was good, but it was good on a level where it's not an enhancement match. So I think that automatically makes it better.
Yeah. And
plus the guys involved, plus how good they are, plus how good they were. But this one was okay. It made really both girls did look good, but it was still an enhancement match.
But it was also one of those moments. It was also one of those things where, yeah, we needed something, fresh, something in the middle. And usually these women matches, they're pretty spot on. I haven't seen a bad women's match since I started watching the NXT product over here and we started doing these reviews.
This is true.
So, and especially with the pay-per-view coming up, WWE Evolution.
Yeah, I don't think they're allowed to have bad women's matches anymore.
No, they're not.
It's like if a women's match comes off bad sounding before they go out and put it on, they're like, hey, let's get somebody good over here on this, and we're gonna fix this match because they're making a point, damn it.
Yeah.
And this match was good. It was a good match. It wasn't a bad match. It wasn't a great match. It was a good match, and that's fine for the second match of 3. It's fine for the other enhancement match on. And the other enhancement match is going to be the last match tonight, which was Cassius Ohno versus, fuck if I don't even remember his name, Justin Xavier. But before that, we get like 5 minutes or maybe probably 6 or 7 of just video packages, promos, whatnot. But we start off with Bianca Belair in the back.
She wants her
talking to
title
Regal.
match.
And this really isn't a promo. It's not an interview or anything. This is kind of the camera waiting on Regal, but kind of spying on him and watching Bianca Belair yell at the GM of NXT that she is undefeated. And where is her championship match?
And you can just tell Regal's frustrated. Like, it's one of those situations where, like, it's almost uncomfortable to be standing there watching this conversation between the two.
Regal don't give a fuck about this.
He doesn't.
He's not worried about this right now. He cares about when Aleister Black is going to get there and that Aleister Black doesn't kick everyone's fucking ass.
And doesn't ruin his announcement at the end. That's the major thing. He's going to be announcing at the end of this, night who's going to be facing Ciampa at War Games. That's the whole big deal at this point. He does not want this big announcement that he's making interrupted by like sheer blown chaos.
I prefer to think he just doesn't want Aleister Black to come in there and kick everybody's ass.
Sheer blown chaos.
Yeah. Okay. Well, after that we had an interview with Regal because, like I said, the camera was waiting on him. And so pans over with Regal to where we've seen Regal in the back the last 3 or 4 or 5 weeks. It's been in front of his office door. They don't want to go into his office anymore. I don't know why. But he gets asked.
I think that's the thing. I think he's like being shown that he's so busy and so stretched all over the place that he doesn't have time to go back into his office anymore.
Yeah, he always gets stopped at his door and has to turn around and go somewhere.
Yes. So
he doesn't even use it. It's no longer furnished. There's no desk. There's no brass knucks in a case.
It's just a door with his name on it. It probably doesn't even lead to anywhere.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the fucking janitor's closet, man. They just stick his name on the door and say, all right, let's film. But, so the interviewer, and sorry, I don't remember her name. I don't know if I've ever known her name.
No.
But she wants to know from Regal if he knows what Aleister Black knows. Does he know who Nikki Cross told Aleister Black attacked him?
And he says no.
He has no fucking clue.
No.
And that's basically the end of that.
Kinda. Right after that, we have the Undisputed Era. Come right up to Regal asking, "Did you see that garbage?"
Yeah, this is like 3 promos in one.
Yeah,
basically.
So they confront him, and they're saying this is stupid.
Run your show right.
Run your show right. Pretty much telling
Control
Regal
your talent.
Pretty much telling Regal what to do, which is something you just don't do. Well, you haven't done it since he's a wrestler. You don't do it now.
Well, the last time they came out and told Regal that he needs to keep his talent in check, they ended up with that match versus the War Raiders for the Tag Team Championships. So, what did they end up this time?
Another match with the War Raiders.
Now, granted, it wasn't for the Tag Team Champions. It wasn't even against the same 2. This is going to be a match next week with the War Raiders versus Adam Cole and the returning Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
Finally get to see Bobby Fish back in the ring.
I think that's the other reason why they kicked off the night the way they did, so they can actually announce this as the main event for next week. Is because otherwise, if they would have been jumbling so much together at the end of the night, like with them leaving the ring or just staying in the ring and possibly calling Regal out.
That is true, yeah.
But I think that's why they started off with the Undisputed Era match. That way there's that little breather in between. It's like, good, we're done with these guys for this evening. No. They come back, they're even more obnoxious. And sure enough, Regal's already like at wit's end and puts him in a match with the War Raiders. And more so, I'm starting to think that the eight man match at War Games is actually going to involve the War Raiders and the Undisputed Era, because now you're going to be seeing all four of the Undisputed Era face off against the War Raiders over a span of 2 weeks. So it only makes sense there's going to be another match.
Yeah, and it's going to be a 4-on-4 probably, which sucks balls to me. Like I said in last week or the week before, one of our previous episodes, like I said, I'm not a fan of changing the format of War Games on your second outing.
Yeah.
Because then you're changing the idea of War Games from it being a certain kind of match to just whatever match with a bunch of people in a certain kind of cage with 2 rings.
Yeah.
That's like if you took the Elimination Chamber and just used the cage but changed the rules.
Yeah.
It would no longer be the Elimination Chamber.
It would just be the chamber.
So that's my problem with that, but that leads us into probably the somber part of this episode of what's NXT. The elephant in the room, the announcement on Monday night from Roman Reigns. We got the same video package that we saw on Tuesday on SmackDown.
Definite tearjerker. And
yeah, I told him, because he watched the YouTube clip of Roman's announcement, but I was like, yeah, but did you watch this video package they did that showed last night? And he's like, no. I was like, yeah, man, this thing's going to make you cry. I can fast forward it if you want. You already know what happens. He's like, no, man, I'm good. Let's watch it.
I felt the lump. But I
was all cried out. Monday night, it's such a terrible time. I've got Sling TV, and Sling TV has not been recording my Raw and SmackDown for some reason. Or obviously they record it. They haven't been allowing me to watch. I don't know what's up, but by the time it all got fixed and I got to watch it, it's super late and I'm super tired. But that starts off the show, and just like, by the time he gets up to the top of the ramp and Seth Rollins comes out and he's crying, I'm just like, my eyes are tearing up, man. Like I'm about to start bawling. Like this is real life, and sometimes the lines get blurred as to who you like and who you don't like, who you cheer for and who you boo, and whether or not you boo Roman Reigns or you cheer for him or whatever, or whomever wrestles, and how you feel about their character. This is something that nobody wants.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where, yeah, you can hate on the person in the ring, their in-ring talent, their work on a microphone and whatnot. In the long run, once they get back behind the curtain, they're completely different people. They have families, they have lives.
They're human.
They're human. And so, for him to come out there, publicly address the crowd, tell everybody what's going on and everything, and yeah, it's one of those moments where you're glad that he's being taken care of. You're glad that he's actually taking the time to get out of the spotlight and get everything taken care of, versus, carrying on and making the situation worse on himself.
Yeah.
And he's looking out for his wife and his daughter and everything. And yeah, kudos to him for this. Like, I'm one of the biggest Roman Reigns, detractors ever. Like that and John Cena.
Right.
But like both of them in the ring and on the microphone, I just despise. but Roman Reigns really big with the activities on the outside of the ring. John Cena huge with the Make-A-Wish Foundation and such, and I have mad respect for them as human beings. Just as wrestlers, I really don't care for them too much. So
yeah, even John Cena. I mean, it doesn't matter who you boo or why. Like, nobody wants to see anybody get cancer, and this is a situation that it's real life. You can't help it. It's not an injury that could have been somebody's. There's nobody to blame. This is just one of those things that unfortunately happens in life, and he could probably try to continue on and go like a part-time schedule where he only wrestles maybe a handful of Raws in a year and does pay-per-views, stuff like that. He could, but he needs to heal up and he needs to get healthy and not die from cancer. So, I mean, That's
But-
one thing that.
But like you said at this point too, there's no way people are going to be able to boo him
Yes.
when
Yes.
he comes back.
The silver lining. Okay, this is where I'm going with this. This is why it's become a longer part of the show than it should have been, probably.
It was on the show.
Somber,
so
yes, but to
yeah.
drone on about it, the silver lining here is that WWE has been gifted the perfect situation that does for them what they weren't able to do with their writing and it turns Roman Reigns into a natural babyface.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep this Roman Reigns vortex, this black hole going where everything good gets sucked into the Roman Reigns storyline so that you can make him look good and hopefully finally get the cheers that you've been trying to get from the majority of the crowd.
Yeah.
Now, when he comes back, he's not likely to get booed.
No, even if it's like you said on a part-time schedule, it's going to be very hard to boo him, especially if he comes back 100% and doesn't even look like the leukemia affected him in any way, shape, or form. Like he comes back fully recovered and everything, and is actually able to pull off the certain power moves with ease, and just maybe incorporate something new. Even like it's going to be extremely hard for the WWE universe.
Oh, they absolutely. I agree. They need to expand his moveset, but they're not going to have to do much.
No,
he's just going to have to come back, and people are because if anybody boos, then there's going to be a whole group of people around that person that just turn around and look at him.
Yeah.
Imagine the look somebody would get if they put an Eddie Guerrero tribute video on the Titantron and somebody was booing it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the look they would get? I imagine it would be, to a lesser degree, that's the look they would get if they booed Roman Reigns after he comes back and beats cancer and turns into a genuine, natural babyface. The other part of the silver lining in this is now that he can be a babyface, and in part so now that he's got to be gone from television to go fight the cancer, they get to backtrack and undo some of the messy bullshit that they have done in attempts to get Roman Reigns cheered. Most notably of which is turn Braun Strowman back into a babyface to fill the spot that Roman Reigns has just absconded, or not absconded. He's just left temporarily.
That's still a good word.
So there is silver lining here. It's basically everything WWE wanted and has been booking Raw to be so god awfully boring sometimes.
Yep.
God awfully just not making any sense sometimes. They can finally get away from all that. Yeah. And even when Roman Reigns comes back, they don't have to go back to all that because the job was done for them. Now he will get cheered, and we can all move on.
Yes.
To hopefully better storylines, better matches, better dream matches, and less use or leaning on older guys that have been established, like Triple H and The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Kane and Big Show. Lean on them less. Start pushing new talent more. Hopefully this is where we're going. But back to NXT.
Yeah.
For video packages.
Lacey Evans.
Video packages. Everybody gets a video package. You get a video package. You get a video package. Everybody out there gets a video package. I get a video package. Video packages all around.
Well, the next one's Lacey Evans one.
Yes.
And pretty much her saying she's gonna change the women's division for the better, make it classier, bring back the almost like prestige to the actual women's wrestling style, and I'm digging it. I'm digging her style. I'm digging the fact that she's got this whole women's revolution thing going, but she's making it almost like a one-woman revolution.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah, it's. I'm buying into it. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great. She's got this whole 50s housewife thing going with half her outfits, and that right hand of hers when it actually does connect and everything. It looks beautiful.
Looks good. Sounds good.
she's well
feels
underway.
good because I mean you feel it, man.
I
see it and you fucking feel it.
I think she's gonna be. Once she does get called up to the main roster, I think she is going to be utilized in the right way, and I think she is actually going to do a really great job up there. But for right now, yeah, her place is down there, like, you know, just lording over the rest of this women's division, and that's what's going to end up happening.
Well, this was a good video package. Like, I know I make fun. Everybody gets a video package, but this was a good video package. It was like her. It was a classic. It was a throwback. It was just a basic. You've got a couple of videos of her answering questions or just talking, you know, and I don't even know if it was something that was done for that video. It looked like it was old interviews.
Oh,
but mostly it was just her doing her thing in the ring. The best moves, the best shots of her doing that women's right with the best sound, just. And all done to music, and it was really well done. And whoever does their video packages, man,
whoever's been cutting these promos together, doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, because next we get another video package, another video package of. It started out to look like a really mundane video package for Kairi Sane, but it really quickly turned into almost a video promo for their match at the Women's Evolution.
You saw the entire history between
fucking all of it.
You saw the whole history between her and Baszler.
All the way back to the Mae Young Classic.
Mm-hmm. And you see, like, the build-up. You see, like, the fact that this more or less is almost like the rubber match between the two. Because, like, they've each beaten each other for the belt at this point. Or, like, Shayna won the belt, but then, like, Kairi Sane, oh no, my bad. Kairi Sane didn't beat Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler lost. That's something she always points out, is the fact that she did not lose to Kairi Sane. Shayna Baszler messed up herself and she lost.
This video package was really well done by the end of it, but mostly it just called back to my own memories of watching all of this happen, and it was all right. I was still kind of blown away by the video package for. Yeah, everybody gets a package.
Yes. So,
except next we actually get a match.
Yes.
Now we look at the time that's remaining, and it is quite obviously going to be the last match of the night, and it starts off with. A jobber.
Yeah, Justin Xavier comes out to
Justin Xavier.
And we have no idea who he's facing.
Yeah, I have no clue. They haven't said anything.
They usually announce, you know, at least who's going to be in action next.
I'm thinking Lars Sullivan. If this is the last match of the night, I'm thinking Lars Sullivan.
I'm excited to really see anybody wrestle at this point because we're seeing more talking and more
Well, to be fair, the Roman Reigns video package and everything that they put together to talk about that went a little long, as it did with us, but kind of a good reason. It just happened to be bookended by fucking video packages and interviews and everything back. This was a very backstage and interview and video package heavy episode.
Which, like, for some reason, it still really didn't bother me that much. We've had so many solid weeks of wrestling that I'm like, okay, now we gotta build up some more storylines.
They still got 3 matches in 60 minutes.
Yeah, and this thing is storyline packed at this point. So, yeah, for the video promos that we actually got, too, they were high quality. They actually each had held some sort of meaning to them. It wasn't just meaningless jibber jabber. There was something going on.
So you're okay with the fact that the last match of the night was Cassius Ohno going over a jobber?
Hell no.
Hell no, right?
No, it was like, oh no, I'm not happy with that at all.
Hell no. So I'm going to let the cat out of the bag now. When it comes time to rate the show, it will not be the last match of the night. We are going to rate, as I've said, the main event. And this will be the first time that we're going to rate a main event that is strictly just non-in-ring action.
A reveal.
So this match was, okay.
It was all right. We knew going into it that Ohno was going to win. Simple as that.
I honestly don't remember very much of this match, other than there was one spot where Ohno hits it was a running knee or a running kick to Xavier, and it was just bad looking. Like not bad as in like he botched it or anything. It looked like it hurt.
Yeah, and then he did it again into
the corner. Yeah, so he's leaning into the second turnbuckle, not even the top turnbuckle, and he comes in and fucking paints his face with his foot.
Mm-hmm.
Just brutal looking. And then he wins with, I don't know what they called it. What the
rolling elbow.
The rolling elbow. It's a ripcord with an extra spin on the release so that he can come in with a forearm to the back of the head.
Pretty much the Masayo Tanaka from ECW, the original ECW. And he would use it as the roaring elbow, which I thought was pretty crazy, but they call it the roaring elbow because of the language gap there.
Now, this wasn't the end of the match, though.
No.
Because this got the 1, 2, 3. Like we said, Xavier was a jobber.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Justin. He came out to be beat. But this wasn't the end of the match. We had Nikki Cross come back out. Again, tethering the storyline through the show.
Yep.
But she's pointing at
Cassius Ohno and just laughing.
And she's telling him she knows what he did. And I'm like, okay, let me preface this before we get into the end of this show. This guy here got spoiled a week ago.
Yes.
He was on a different website. He was not on NoDQ.com. Shout out to Aaron for not spoiling pre-tape shows.
Yes, thank you for that.
I agree with him that once the show goes on live, it is no longer a spoiler. It is news. But he got spoiled on somebody else's website. But credit to my friend here, he did not spoil it for me.
No. I kept my trap shut. He kept on asking, if it was a certain person, but he's like, no, don't tell me.
He told me I'd be surprised, though. He told me that I would genuinely enjoy it. And when Nikki Cross came out and pointed at Cassius Ohno and said, I know what you did, I'm like, they can't be suggesting it's him. I mean, obviously they're suggesting it's him, but they can't really be suggesting it's him because that doesn't excite me any.
No.
Like, I don't care about Cassius Ohno being the one. Like, besides the fact that it doesn't make sense because he had people that said that they saw him elsewhere. But whatever. That was, in fact, though, the end of the match. He just kind of goes back up the rampway looking like, the fuck is she talking about?
Yeah. So, after that, we have
a video package!
against the man that Cassius Ohno wants to pretty much put out before he even debuts his first match.
William Regal's new toy.
Yep. Matt Riddle.
His shiny new toy.
Who's going to be debuting next week.
No. Say it right. He will be debuting.
Debuting.
Debut. Matt Riddle will debut.
Anytime I write down debut, I just want to read it as debut, and I smile.
So Matt Riddle,
it's juvenile. It happens.
Matt Riddle will debut next week on NXT, and all they said was debut. They didn't specify if it was in ring, but I would hope that it's in ring. So hopefully we're going to get 2 good matches next week. We're going to have the debut of the debut of Matt Riddle, and we will have the Undisputed Era's Cole and Fish versus the War Raiders.
Yeah. So
put in a good enhancement talent match in between those, and well, another one because inevitably the Matt Riddle match is going to be him versus a jobber.
The matches have been set for next week, so onward with this, where we have Regal ready to come down and announce.
Ding, ding, ding. It is now time for the main event.
Yes.
And finally, it is not a match, so I don't know why I used the bell.
The main attraction for the night has arrived.
This is Regal, already in the ring. I don't know if Regal has music. If he does, they hardly ever use it.
Oh no, they're playing his music. It's like
that villainous music.
Love it.
So Regal, up to this point, we didn't know necessarily that this was going to be an announcement about the NXT Championship. It was just billed as Regal is making a big announcement for War Games.
No, he says he's going to be announcing who Ciampa's going to fight and for the NXT Championship.
I could have swore they waited until the beginning of this promo. Well, anyway.
Nope, they mentioned it last week. So
you know what? Your memory was better on so many other things. I'm going to trust it this time.
That's what made it so important. The fact that they didn't mention any matches that were going to be going on this week on NXT. Just that announcement. And that announcement captivated enough people that it was like, okay, they could put stuff like this on here and then go ahead and just have this announcement right at the end.
Well, I just thought that was the case because as soon as he said it was for the NXT Championship against Tommaso Ciampa, Tommaso Ciampa's music hits. And again, like you said, there's the flatline music, the heartbeat monitor that flatlines, and out comes Ciampa. And
even before then, before we went out that way, Ciampa was shown in the back in a trailer-looking thing, just walking back and forth, talking to his belt the entire time.
Now rewind to a couple episodes of What's NXT ago.
Yeah.
And what plays out here is almost to a T what I had expected to happen.
Yep.
And then expanded upon and a different ending.
Yes.
So out comes Ciampa, and basically he says what you would expect him to say. If Regal's going to announce who he's facing at War Games,
he needs to be out there for it.
Yeah, so get on with it, Regal. So Regal goes to get on with it, but of course, as these segments tend to go, somebody else's music hits.
Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen Dream. And
look at his purplish Prince type vest.
And as should be the case here, Velveteen Dream actually gets some mic time.
Yes.
He has a couple of great lines, but just the fact that he wants to get into the title picture, I called that 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to be out there for the fucking announcement whenever it came, and he wasn't the only one.
Nope.
This is kind of where
this sort of kind of took a little bit of a turn because out comes big old Lars Sullivan.
Yeah, when his music hit, I was thrown. I was like, but then I thought about it, and I'm like, Lars Sullivan, yeah, fuck yeah, put him in the title. I mean, if you're gonna have all these motherfuckers out here that want the title, Lars Sullivan is surely a contender.
Oh yeah, he's definitely been on a roll and has that unstoppable quality to him. I mean,
well, no, he's not completely unstoppable. Because then Velveteen Dream turns around and he's like, you know what? As good as you look, as dominant as you are, like, you don't come in here and talk to the Velveteen Dream without pants on. Something like that.
Yeah.
Something to that extent. Obviously, I am not as good with words as Velveteen Dream. It was fucking hilarious.
It just flowed out, like the fact that he could have said anything else about Lars, but he just addressed the fact that the boy wasn't wearing any pants.
Yeah. So this was Lars Sullivan comes out next, and then I thought maybe somebody else would come out. And this is where I might have tipped my hat. I'm asking him, like, okay, so who's next? And I say, well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Actually, who comes out next is Nikki Cross.
Yep, screaming, he's here.
You know, she kind of gets involved in a lot of male storyline promos and in-ring segments.
Yeah.
It's weird because her music didn't hit, though, so that was different. But she still came out, and she has got the same warning that she's been spouting all night. He's here. Well, no.
No, she gonna say he's coming, but this time it was he's here.
He's here.
He's here. He's here.
And you're like, okay, so he's here. So what? And then before you can even think of, okay, where's Aleister Black at here? Like, is he about to get into the ring? You see Aleister Black fucking kicking a security guard right in the yam bag, man. Just splits him up the middle, and then he knocks him out. And you see the other security guards laying, and somebody comes out the door that he's about to go in, and what do they get? They get for their troubles? They didn't even do anything. They catch a fucking black mask right to the face.
They kept a concession guy for all we know. That would have been so great, just popcorn flying everywhere, and nachos.
So it may not have been all of the wrestlers, and he may not have been bringing the house down or nothing, but Aleister Black came and kicked a lot of ass.
Mm-hmm.
And then he made his way in, and they're just cementing this. They're so good at this. And he knocks over the cameraman, and you can see that the camera goes all like weird, and then they cut to another camera.
Yeah.
So well done. Aleister Black comes out, and
makes the line right to Regal.
Well, at first you think maybe he's making a beeline right for Ciampa, because Ciampa looks fucking scared, which is kind of not his character.
Yeah.
He is delusionally thinks he's better than everybody, and there's no reason for him to be scared. He looks scared. He gets the fuck out of the ring.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so maybe it was Ciampa. He goes for Regal. And I'm like, okay, so you're swerving me. Because I asked him, I was like, was it Regal? Was it Regal? And he's like, no, it wasn't Regal.
I'm man up to admit when I'm wrong. And, like, for...
But you made so much sense.
Yeah, it was so concrete, and it was so with... I hate to say it, but the way WWE story tells.
But it was still a good story, and it still made a lot of sense, and it would have made everything that makes sense. But maybe that was it. Maybe all of that looked like it made sense because they were trying to throw us off. Ladies and gentlemen, it was not William Regal. Aleister Black just wanted Regal because, well, for one, Regal had a mic on his chest. Oh, I'm afraid. Speaking to the mic, sir. well, Aleister Black is yelling at him. Where is he? Where is he? But Regal has made it clear that he doesn't know who it is. He doesn't know what Aleister Black knows. So it's weird that he would be asking William Regal, of all people, who is he, without saying, where is... He turns around, and what does he eat?
A super kick from Mr. Johnny Wrestling himself, Johnny Gargano.
Johnny Gargano super kicks Aleister Black in the face. And Aleister Black is like down, like from being super. But I guess it was out of nowhere, and the bell hadn't rung.
Yeah.
Even though I rang the bell, I'm sorry for that. This was not a match. This was the main event, though.
Mm-hmm. And Gargano just simply says, "I'm here," and that's
I'm right here.
I'm right here, and Regal is still. Regal looks puzzled. But at the same time, like, damn you, Gargano.
It made sense.
Yes.
I mean, Gargano takes out Aleister Black so that the match that he has with Ciampa, who he's so sure that he can beat, becomes just him versus Ciampa for the championship. And he walks out not only defeating Ciampa and winning the rivalry, but becoming the NXT champion without having to worry about that third guy.
Yes. So... That was my mentality about the whole thing. When I found out, I was mad, but I was mad because I was happy at the same time. I like being proven wrong in wrestling, especially when it's actually something that makes as much sense as this Gargano thing. It sets up so many different ways that this can go.
Well, they set this up weeks ago. In the Candice LeRae interview with William Regal, she said that she didn't actually see that Johnny Gargano wasn't there, that he told her he was going to the men's locker room, and so this all made sense. If he hadn't suggested William Regal, if neither one of us had picked up on that, and gone so vehemently towards Regal, I think Johnny Gargano would have been my top suspect.
I was about to say, I swerved us.
Yeah, we swerved ourselves. But it was such a good... I was so blown away by the idea that it would be William Regal and all the little subtle hints.
Yeah.
But I guess those subtle hints were on purpose. So I'm a fan of all of this.
Yeah, red herrings. Like, left and right.
So here we are at the end of the... Well, I guess the reveal... I mean, technically this is the end of the chapter on the storyline. Who did it? So now what's next? What's NXT?
Yeah.
You say. Well, what's next is the rating.
Since we didn't have a main event, like Stefan said, we're going to go ahead and rate the reveal. So, me, blown away by it. So many different avenues and everything they can take at this point. They can pretty much let the fans decide who they're going to, like, if Gargano is going to be a heel or a face in this whole thing. Because the way I see it, the best revenge you get on anybody is to be the reason for their success and then the reason for their ultimate failure. So he's going to take every credit in the world for taking out Aleister Black, even though Aleister Black in this whole thing is kind of a victim of circumstance. Because I think Gargano would have taken out anybody that had that belt at that point, just to get Ciampa, like, you know,
one-on-one.
Ciampa one-on-one to get Ciampa to win the belt, because in the long run he's gonna want to take the belt off of Ciampa and embarrass him, and also become NXT champion at the same time. So in his mind, hasn't really done anything wrong in any way, shape, or form. He's actually just setting himself up for a bigger success.
So then he is just like Ciampa. He's delusional.
Yes.
He's delusional to his heelish ways. Or maybe he's just going to go full into the heel character. And I would rather see that.
And, Gargano's a very, very good heel. If he gets to play one on here, he's going to play it to the hilt, and it's going to be fantastic regardless. But I could also see him being almost like, as weird as much as we reference him on this show, the Thanos-like heel. The one that feels he's doing right by NXT and right by the championship and right by himself by taking out Aleister Black. Aleister Black was just a guy that had the belt at that point, and he needed to be taken out for the greater good.
For the greater good. Oh yeah, yes. Even more delusional, right?
Yes.
So
that's what he meant by going and getting his head straight and everything, and now he's back and he's ready to do what he needs to do.
So even though you were spoiled a week ago on the outcome and who did it, who done it.
Yeah.
In the General's 5-star rating, where do you give this main event segment?
I'm always a huge fan of heel turns, or just face turns in general, because you don't really see, like, a lot of them occurring anymore that don't really surprise you. Like, the Dean Ambrose turn, everybody knew that was going to happen eventually. But the Gargano turn, it kind of threw me just because I was so dead set on it being Regal. I'm so programmed by them that the fact that even when Gargano appeared on the screen and super kicked Aleister Black and revealed that it was him, even though I knew it was him, I was still excited by this reveal. I thought it was wonderfully orchestrated, and the fact that he's had everybody like against each other at this point, blaming everybody for it, and Ciampa still being like, you know, the main focus. They're saying Ciampa took out Aleister Black, blah, blah, blah. We knew it wasn't Ciampa.
Couldn't have been Ciampa.
It couldn't have been Ciampa. But we kept on saying, well, maybe it is Ciampa. But at the same time, we are already 99.99999% sure that it was not Ciampa.
But they still milked that right up to the last moment.
Yes.
You know, Ciampa was the only one in the ring when Aleister Black made a beeline for it, and he was out of the ring very quickly.
Yes.
And well, him and Regal. And Regal were in the ring. Regal didn't leave. And obviously, then I'm thinking, oh, well, okay, so we were right. It is Regal. No, it wasn't Regal.
Yep.
It was, and I wasn't necessarily too surprised by this, but it was still kind of a surprise. I'm glad I wasn't spoiled a week ago. Thank you, sir, for that.
You're welcome.
If I haven't formally thanked you enough. I hate spoilers, and he knows that, and so sometimes it's good to do videos with guys that you are actually friends with.
I'm never been a big fan of spoilers. It's just one of those things where it's like, these are the people that revealed the rabbit was in the hat the whole time to these like kids that watch magic shows. It takes away the magic, but this time around, it didn't for me. I was excited to see it actually go down. I'm gonna give it a 4. Like, it's not like the greatest like reveal of all time. Like for like in recent years, I think the biggest one's been Seth Rollins turning on the Shield. I think that's one of the biggest heel turns that we've actually had.
I don't know, the one with Dean Ambrose from Monday night is probably going to go up there.
Yeah, well,
in the annals of time, it's going to be one of the best.
Oh yeah, well,
especially given the circumstances, it was just brilliantly done.
It's gonna be interesting regardless. But yeah, giving Gargano a chance to shine as a probably the heel for the company at this point, if they want to do it that way. I'm all for it, and I think it's going to be a fantastic run. I think it's going to be a short feud between him and Aleister Black, just to pave the way for another match with him versus Ciampa, whether it be for the belt or not. Because that's going to be a big slap in the face, too, is if Ciampa ends up losing the belt before Gargano even gets a crack at him. Because chances are they're going to make this Gargano versus Black at War Games now. And Ciampa could very well lose the belt at War Games, and then what?
Well, so if it's gonna, because I see this going two ways. You've either got a 5-man match for the championship, with Aleister Black, Velveteen Dream, Lars Sullivan, Johnny Gargano, and the returning and Tommaso Ciampa, the champion.
Yeah.
All the five other than Regal and Nikki Cross that were in this main event segment.
Throw Nikki Cross in there.
Or, as you say, you have a feud match, a blood match between Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano over here, and then over here you either have Ciampa versus Velveteen, Ciampa versus Lars Sullivan, or all three of them in a triple threat match.
Yeah. Well, that would actually make sense, and then have the match with Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano be like maybe there's got to be a finish, so it's got to be like a no DQ, probably no holds barred match, and make that for also the number one contender spot to whoever wins at the world title match at War Games.
That's cool for that, but I don't want to see a triple threat match. You don't put Ciampa in the ring with Lars Sullivan. They're both heels.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't believe there's any good way to book Ciampa to beat Lars Sullivan without making Lars Sullivan look like a chump.
Yeah.
But you can book a number one contenders match between Velveteen Dream and Lars Sullivan, and you can have Velveteen Dream win that match because it's not like a title where you have to win via pinfall or submission.
Yeah.
If Lars Sullivan gets disqualified or counted out or any number of ways that you can have him lose that match and still look protected, but you go forward with a Velveteen Dream as in Tommaso Ciampa for the championship.
That'd work out well too. I think that'd work out nicely, and then even then you could even have Johnny Gargano try to come out and spoil that, and ends up costing Ciampa the belt.
Well, I just think it makes Velveteen Dream look stronger going into the match. It makes him look more like a championship contender.
Especially if he knocks off
Lars Sullivan. Especially if he can get it by some kind of fluke pinfall.
Oh, yeah.
It makes him look credible, and it makes the match look better, versus if it's a triple threat match, it kind of would feel like a throwaway. Yeah, not like a real feud, just kind of three guys that would put on a good match, I guess, for sure. But
that would be a cool, clean finish thing going. Just have a clean finish to the Velveteen Dream and Lars Sullivan match, and that would boost Velveteen Dream's credibility, and also would make him even more viable threat to Ciampa's belt. So that's a really good call.
I honestly wouldn't mind seeing Velveteen Dream take it from Ciampa, because it's one of those things where Ciampa, yeah, he's a dominant champion, the way he looks, the way he wrestles, the way he wins, usually. But Velveteen Dream's kind of like a wild card where he could come in there and just win it and surprise the fuck out of everybody. But it just, for some reason, it feels good and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Just because, like I said, he's like a wild card. Like, he doesn't have to necessarily look like he's going to go in there and win and still win. And you'd be surprised, but not all too surprised. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, that's one of those matches that can go either way with Ciampa and Velveteen Dream, because, granted, their styles, I wouldn't say aren't much different, but at the same time, it would just be a phenomenal match. They're both extremely talented, and the build-up to the match would be just brilliant naturally. So, because those two, like, riffing off of each other is just great. So, but yeah, I'm anxious to see where this plays out now, especially with the Gargano Black storyline.
Yep.
That's the other thing I'm kind of, wondering, is if Candice LeRae actually was a part of this and lied to Regal, or if she actually doesn't know anything that, like, Gargano is pulling. So,
I don't know. I feel like if she was out and out lying to Regal, she would have just told Regal that she was with Ciampa.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Anyway, I'm going to agree with you on the segment. Honestly, I was starting to go into it thinking more like a 3.75, 3 3/4.
Yeah.
But really, this segment was great on a couple of different levels, and just the simple fact that it was the reveal of Johnny Gargano being the guy after all these months and all the inquiry by William Regal. It was the reveal of who done it, but also it was a heel turn for Johnny Gargano as the guy who done it.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll find out it's not a full heel turn. Maybe it is. Who knows? But I thought it was pretty. I'm gonna go with you on a 4 stars.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it was definitely a 4-star segment.
It got the crowd quiet. The second like that super kick landed and people had that oh shit.
As soon as they realized that was Johnny Gargano and he was the one who did it,
like you could actually hear him say, "It's like I'm right here."
Yeah, mic drop.
And you could it wasn't even tension or anything. It was just almost dead air.
Well, going into this, I had paused it at some point for a minute to go for some reason. And you said, what can they do in a minute? This was right after Aleister Black had Black Mask the guy at the door.
Yeah.
And you're like, how are they going to do a reveal in a minute, in less than a minute? And they really did a lot in less than a minute, let me tell you. So I agree, 4 stars. And for those of you, if you want to be purists, then let's go ahead and we'll rate the first match. I'll give the first match a 2.75 stars. 2 3/4 stars. Because it was better than the middle of the road.
Yeah, I'd say I'd give it about a 3, but that's only because like I said, we saw a standard match that could have gone either way. It could have been a massive disqualification, but instead we saw I'll go ahead and say an upset victory by EC3 against more or less a 4-man team.
I would have given it a 3-star, but the fact that this match was like the match for showcasing 2 contenders, one versus the other, as opposed to somebody to be highlighted and somebody to be jobbed out.
Yeah.
This match should have had some better build-up than just a minute and a half on the mic for each guy.
Yeah.
And then let's have a match right now. If it had a little bit more build-up, maybe it would have been a 3-star match or better. But this had no build-up. But the match and the segment itself were better than middle of the road. They were better than average. So I go 2 3/4.
Yeah, it was kind of hastily thrown together, and that's why I didn't go any higher with it.
No higher than 3, man.
No higher than 3 on this match. Like it just seemed.
Well, I guess a 3 is supposed to be middle of the road, but I figure out of 5, 2.5 is middle of the road, right?
Yeah,
rounds up to 3.
I'd say about that. Yeah. So yeah, that'd be about the. I'd give it still about 2 3/4 to 3, somewhere in between.
I'm not trying to change your mind. You stay with 3. I'm calling it 2.75.
I don't like fractions.
we can change it. We can do however many stars and then the points on the stars. So it could be like 3 and 4 points on a star would be 3 stars and 80% of a star. Anyway, before we bore you guys out of here, I want to encourage you guys to join us for our NXT party. We'll probably be coming out tomorrow. Whatever day this video goes up, you will see NXT party tomorrow. We will be doing a review for the October. It is the 24th episode.
Yep.
October 24th episode of NXT UK.
That's what I mean by long night.
Please join us for a cup of tea.
Yep.
And we've got the teacup somewhere. We will have those out for the show. In the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at Stefan, STEFANR Osborne, OSBORNE. And you can also go to nodq.com/Stefan, and you can find my Twitter there. You can also go to my channel if you want to get these videos a few hours early. You can subscribe on my YouTube channel. It's Aftermatch, all one word, Aftermatch Wrestling. And leave some comments. Nobody's left any comments. I guess nobody cares. But hopefully there's a couple people out there that care. I want you guys to help me talk this guy into getting a Twitter just for wrestling, just because there's so many wrestlers you can follow, dude. Find out all kinds of stuff just by having them on your Twitter. Help me talk this guy into getting a Twitter so he's got something to plug so that you guys can talk to him about wrestling. Please talk to me about wrestling. Talk to us about wrestling. And join us tomorrow for NXT UK and our NXT party.
Yep.
In the meantime, again, I am the Wizard of No DQ, Stephen Osborne. I am with the General, Jerry Slaughter. And see you guys in NXT time.